The leader of the Pheu Thai Party MP states that a critic's call to dissolve the party due to alleged dominance by former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is misinformed and incorrect. Wisuth Chainarun said on Monday that he had learned that someone had asked the Election Commission to request the dissolution of Pheu Thai by the Constitutional Court. The complainant alleged that the party, at the heart of the coalition, had allowed itself to be dominated by former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who was not a member of the party. Mr. Wisuth, a list MP, explained that dominance meant the party was accepting and following orders, such as the choice of its candidate for Prime Minister. It was earlier reported that Thaksin had recommended Chaikasam Nidasirai as Prime Minister, but the Pheu Thai MPs ultimately chose and nominated the party leader, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, Mr. Wisuth clarified. Ms. Paetongtarn, who was later elected Prime Minister by the House of Representatives, is Thaksin's youngest daughter. She celebrated her 38th birthday on August 21. I do not see former Prime Minister Thaksin giving orders to the party. Whenever he attended party meetings, he never gave instructions. During his interviews, he offers his personal opinions as an experienced former Prime Minister. Whether the party follows what he says is another matter, said Mr. Wisuth. Ms. Paetongtarn did not respond to journalists' questions when she arrived at Shinawatra Tower 3, which serves as the party headquarters, in Bangkok on Monday morning. It was reported that a person, who requested to remain anonymous, had filed a petition for the party's dissolution with the Election Commission on August 19, accusing Pheu Thai of being dominated by an outsider. The complaint refers to the Organic Law on Political Parties, which states that it is illegal for a non-member to control, dominate, or instruct a party's activities in such a way that the party or its members become directly or indirectly dependent on them. Heavy rains are forecast this week in the northern, northeastern, central, and southern provinces, with a major flood risk in Sukhothai in the north due to rising water levels in the Yam River. The Meteorological Department issued a warning on Monday morning. It announced that heavy rain was expected in the northern, upper northeastern, and central regions, including Bangkok, as well as in most parts of the southern regions. It warned of possible flash floods due to river overflow and runoff, at least until Wednesday. The Hydroinformatics Institute indicated that heavy rains could continue until Friday, particularly in the provinces of Chiang Rai, Pheu, Nan, and Phrae. The Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation had previously reported that floods caused by heavy downpours last week had begun to recede in these four provinces. However, the latest forecasts put them back in the danger zone. Nearly 12,000 households in the northern provinces have already been affected by the floods, it said. Flooding in the northern region is due to the overflow of the Peng, Wang, Yam, and Nan rivers. The next downstream flood risk area is Sukhothai, which still receives water carried by the Yam River from the northern provinces. The Yam is the only major river in the region without a dam to retain water. Sapan Srisawangwarakul, head of the Royal Irrigation Project in Sukhothai, told the Reporters TV that the districts of Sawangkalak, Si Samrong, and Muang were at risk of flooding. The situation was not yet critical. The province's canals could handle the water from the Yam. The situation in Sukhothai is serious only because it is receiving more water, he explained. Mr. Sapan, however, indicated that new heavy rains could overwhelm the flood prevention measures in the province and cause new problems. Nakhon Ratchasima rescue efforts continued Monday to reach 3 people trapped by the collapse of part of a tunnel under construction for the new high-speed rail line in this northeastern province. A scanner detected what appeared to be body heat and heartbeats from the missing men around 4 a.m. Monday, raising hopes they were still alive. The tunnel, planned to be 8 kilometers long, collapsed on Saturday night about 4 kilometers from the entrance, located in Tambon Chan Thuk in Pak Chong district. Rescuers are using a mechanical digger to carefully remove earth and rocks to reach the trapped workers, a Chinese construction supervisor, a Chinese digger operator, and a Burmese truck driver. Recent falls of earth and stones complicate their efforts. The tunnel is part of the Sukhothai high-speed rail line under construction between Bangkok and Nong Khai province, which borders Laos. Krikanan Iapanya, spokesman for the Ministry of Transport, said Monday that sections of a rescue tube would gradually be pushed through the blocked part of the tunnel as it was cleared. The hope is that the trapped men can be evacuated this way. Each section of the rescue tube is about 1.20 meters in diameter and 6 meters long. Once contact is established, air can be pumped into it, along with emergency supplies, until the opening is wide enough for rescuers to reach the men. A water management project initiated by Yingluck Shinawatra could be revived at a cost of 6 trillion baht to tackle persistent flooding and drought, said Acting Deputy Prime Minister Pheu Thai Party. He emphasized that the issue was a national priority, requiring major investment to be resolved. The issue was first raised by Yingluck's government. In 2011, a budget of 2 to 3 trillion baht was allocated for the project. Now, it will take about 5 to 6 trillion to complete it, explained Mr. Pheu Thai. It's a substantial amount, but it will be worth it in the long run. He made these remarks during a visit to Nan province in the north of the country, where he inspected flood relief operations and provided supplies to flood victims. Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is concerned about the flood victims and is frustrated that she cannot help them while waiting for a new government to be formed. The interim government is doing its best to help, said Mr. Pheu Thai. Once the new government takes office, the water management project will be submitted for review, he added. Last week, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra said at a local forum that the new government must undertake several megaprojects during the remainder of its term, particularly to address the country's chronic flooding and drought issues. On Sunday, floods were reported again in 5 northern provinces, namely Chiang Rai, Nan, Pheu, Phetchabun, and Phrae, according to the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, DDPM. Between August 16 and 22, the floods caused the deaths of 22 people, including 13 in Phuket. The floods affected 22 provinces, displacing 30,807 families across the country. Showvali Gungkum, Assistant Governor of the Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand, EGUT, said that although the floods in the north had subsided in some areas, EGUT would closely monitor water levels in the country's major river basins. On Sunday, the Sirikit Dam in Uttaradi Province, one of the main dams in the upper north, was about 70% full. It can still accommodate an additional 2.9 million cubic meters of runoff, Mr. Showvali noted. The dam's discharge rate has been reduced to 3 million cubic meters per day to prevent downstream flooding and conserve water for the next dry season, Mr. Showvali added. Surasi Kittamanthan, Secretary-General of the Office of the National Water Resources, ONWR, said on Sunday that persistent rains had raised water levels along the Mekong River, affecting many low-lying areas in the north and northeast. He indicated that the ONWR had sent an emergency notice to the Mekong River Commission Secretariat, MRCS, requesting increased flood monitoring and daily reports from hydrometric stations in Chiang Rai, Loei, Nong Khai, Buang Khan, Nakhon Phanom, Mukdahan, Amnat Cherawan, and Ubon Ratchathani. In Sukhothai, the Yam River overflowed on Sunday, flooding villages and farmland in the districts of Sawankalak, Sri Samrong, Kong Krilet, and Muang, with water levels reaching up to 50 centimeters. Sukhothai Governor Suchart Thikasuk has ordered the establishment of a relief operations center to assist affected villagers. With more rains expected, the Bangkok City Hall has already deployed several measures to prevent runoff from the north from causing widespread flooding in Bangkok. Bangkok Deputy Governor Wisuth Chainarun said City Hall was closely monitoring water levels along the Chao Phraya River and sharing data with the Royal Irrigation Department, the National Water Management Center, and the ONWR. The flow of the Chao Phraya River through Bang Sai District and Ayutthaya was not at a worrying level today. The runoff from Nan should take about 5 days to reach downstream, and we will know the severity of the situation 2 days in advance when the water reaches Bang Sai, said Mr. Wisuth. Mr. Wisuth added that officials had reinforced and raised the height of flood barriers along the Chao Phraya with sandbags to prevent flooding. Manpower and resources such as sandbags and water pumps have been mobilized in flood-prone areas across the capital to allow a rapid response in case of an emergency, he noted.